Hello dear students, we are studying chapter number 1, that is gravitation. In today's video, as per your textbook, we are going to see next point, that is uniform circular motion or magnitude of centripetal force. Students, one question is there in your exercise is that how the Kepler's law helped the Newton to formulate inverse square law. So in this video, we are going to see all that points which are very important. So see the video very carefully. Students, before this we have studied about the circular motion and centripetal force. The motion of object along the circular path called circular motion, and the object which moves along the circular path if it is in the constant speed. If the object moves in a constant speed, then it is said to be uniform circular motion. Now students, the object will move continuously in their path, continuously along the circular path if and only if the force is directed upon it from their center. And such force called centripetal force. Such force is called as a centripetal force. Now students, we will consider here the object moving along the circular path which is having mass m. Let us consider the object which is having mass, that is m, velocity means speed of object, velocity that is v, and the distance of object, distance, or we can say here the radius of object. As this is a circular path, we also can say here radius, or that is r. So here m be the mass of object, v be the velocity, and r is the distance or radius of object. Then the centripetal force acted upon that object, that is F is equals to mv square upon r. So centripetal force we get here, that is F is equals to mv square upon r. That is our equation number 1. Now students, we know that planets are revolving around the sun, and sun exerts the centripetal force on all that planet, so that all the planets are moving continuously or constantly in their orbit, in their path. Suppose here a planet that is revolving around the sun. It is a planet revolving around the sun. So let us consider here, instead of that object, we will consider here a planet which is having again mass m, their velocity v, and distance or radius, distance of planet from sun, distance of that planet from sun, that is r. Then same, the centripetal force acted from the sun is F is equals to mv square upon r. Now student, in case of that planet, the speed or velocity, it is expressed in time of revolution of planet. The speed is expressed in time of revolution of planet. Let us see here v. So v becomes, means that velocity or speed of planet, it becomes v is equals to distance traveled by planet upon time taken. So we know that every planet takes a specific time period to complete their one revolution. Suppose in a specific time period that planet starts moving here and come back to point again here. Okay, so it complete their one revolution. So here v is what? Distance traversed by or distance traveled by that planet, means it complete one revolution. Let us consider that distance as a perimeter of that path of planet or perimeter of that orbit. So that will be 2 pi r. Okay. So what will be the distance covered by planet here? 2 pi r, perimeter of their orbit, that is 2 pi r. Now time is here t. Capital T will be the time to complete their one revolution. Now students, we get here value of v is equals to v is equals to 2 pi r upon t. So it is our equation number 2. Now students, this is the value of v in equation 2 that we get here. Now we will put this value of v in equation number 1. So let us write here by putting value of v in equation 1. So the equation 1, it becomes f is equals to m. And instead of v, we will take this value 2 pi r upon t whole bracket square and whole divided by r. So equation 1, it becomes f is equals to m into 2 pi r upon t. That is, this is the value of v from equation 2. And here the square of bracket, as it is v square, square of bracket is here and whole it is divided by r. Now students, let us make square of this term. Our next step will be f is equals to m into 4 pi square r square upon t square and again whole divided by r. Understand? See very carefully. Okay. So what we have done here, make the term of make the square of this term. Make the square of this term. So we will get f is equals to m 4 pi square r square and t square. T square. Okay. So here this r and here one r will be cancelled. And what remains? See very carefully. What remains here? F is equals to m 4 pi square r upon t square. Okay students? Now see. We have studied the Kepler's third law, and according to that law, the t square is directly proportional to r cube. T square is directly proportional to r cube. Also we can write this same law in t square is equals to k into r cube, and also we can write same t square upon r cube equal to k. Okay. So let us take this equation here. Just remember this t square upon r cube equal to k. Now students, here we have t square, but we don't have that r cube. Understand? Kepler's law states that Kepler's law tells us that t square upon r cube equal to k. But here we just have t square. We don't have r cube. Now what we have to do here? We have to get r cube in the numerator. So what next step will be? By dividing and multiplying with r square. To get here r cube, we are doing this step by dividing and multiplying by what? R square. Remember this very carefully. See very carefully. Okay. So our next step will be r square. We are multiplying by r square into numerator and denominator. So what we will get here? So F equals to, it becomes m4 pi square. So R into R square, it becomes R cube divided by T square into R square. Okay. So by dividing and multiplying by R square, we will get here F is equals to m4 pi R cube divided by T square R square. Now students, according to this law, we have a separate term, that T square and R cube. Means here we will make separate these two, T square and R cube. Now our next step will be, remember very carefully. So F is equals to, what it will be here? 4m4 pi and R square. And we will take separate here R cube upon T square. R cube upon T square. So this term we want to take here separate. Okay, R cube upon T square. Now students, if we see this, it is totally inverse to the Kepler's third law. So according to Kepler's third law, we know that T square upon R cube, it is K. Means what? K upon 1. K upon 1. So it is become, this term become, or R cube upon T square, R cube upon T square, it is 1 upon K. It is what? 1 upon K. Now students, we will put this value in this. So what it becomes? F is equals to m4 pi upon R square, and 1 upon K means we will write here K at the denominator. So the final will be what? F is equals to m4 pi upon R square into K. Now students, it is given in your textbook, but according to inverse square law, it is like this. F is equals to 1 upon R square. So this is the inverse law. Why? What is the reason behind this? So here m, that is mass of object, 4, it is a number, pi, it is a constant, and again K, it is a constant. So all that terms, these are constant, we will take here instead of that 1, and remaining only R, that is distance from object to sun. It is variable, it is changes. So it is changes, we will take as it is here R square, and this becomes F is equals to 1 upon R square. Means where that force is inversely proportional to the distance, from object to sun or planet to sun. So this is known as inverse square law, which is formulated by Newton. So let us write here reason, that m4 pi and K, all these are what? Constant. All these are constant. So this is the inverse square law, which is formulated by scientist Newton. So remember this.